It's a Stargate. These data centers, OpenAI AI, it's designed to summon demons and aliens.
Until they can show me a rat or rat excrement that can be traced back to the original infected patient 0 in this particular outbreak, I will not accept any theory as fact.
I'm a 33rd degree Freemason. I get a copy of the New World Order every month so I can vote on the things I want to stay the same and the things I want to change. I'm gonna tell y'all this, but I know y'all not gonna believe me.
Oh my God, okay? It's a Stargate. These data centers, OpenAI AI, it's designed to summon demons and aliens from the other dimensions. Okay, keep on going.
A former OpenAI executive said the portals currently exist in the United States and China.
I told you guys, China and the United States are working together on this, okay? Keep on going.
And Sam has added one in the Middle East. He went on, I think it's just like widely important to get how scary that should be. It's the most reckless things that has been done.
Okay, this is it, okay? This is not a science project, guys. It's an occult project. It's designed to bring aliens, demons, into this world. And then you're like, this makes no sense. Actually, it does make sense, okay? Let me tell you how this works. All right, so what's going on here? These people are occultists. They understand the fundamental nature of reality. They understand that the source of reality is human consciousness. So if you're able to control human consciousness, you become God itself, okay? So, allegory of the cave, Plato. Okay, so we've talked about this before, but I'll remind you. You have 1 million people who are chained in a line. They are forced to look forward at a wall. Okay? A wall. And they can only look at the wall, they can't turn their heads because their necks are shackled. Behind them is a great fire. And behind them are the elite. Okay? Who they are, we don't know. And what they like to do is they like to take puppets, okay? And then reflect these puppets onto the wall, projecting from the fire. So what everyone sees in front of them are shadows. Now, these shadows are nothing. They don't exist. They don't matter. But because we have an imagination, we have intuition, we are conscious, we see these shadows on the wall and we turn them into a reality, okay? We believe that this is reality itself. And so we start to give it names. We create language, we create religion, we create schools to teach children to believe in these shadows. Right? So the important idea here is that the true wealth in society is consciousness. Okay? The only thing that exists really in this world is consciousness, nothing else. Power is the capacity to direct people's consciousness to create reality itself. All right? Now, there are different ways in which you can create reality. The first way, which is very common today, is called money, right? Money is fake. It doesn't exist. Our imagination, our consciousness makes it real. Okay? But guess what? AI can replace money. So AI, it is not alive. But if we can get people's attention to focus on AI and believe it's real, it becomes God. And how can you do that? Well, money, you make money into something valuable when it's nothing by making it everything and nothing. Okay? By having money dominate the world. There's nowhere you can go without money. Okay? You would literally starve to death if you had no money. So you make money so pervasive, so dominant, that people are forced to rely on money. Well, the same situation with AI, where if you make data centers so common, you make AI such a common thing, and people rely on it, it becomes God itself. And how do you do that? Well, you have AI in schools. You have kids using AI all the time. You create AI girlfriends for people who are lonely. You make AI everything. And also, you make people believe that AI are demons or aliens.
This gives power to the media to be able to control the way people think. And you can see the evidence of it in our mainstream media just by turning on your television right now. They absolutely shape people's reality if people believe what they're being shown. And unfortunately, the majority of people are watching it and believing it. But I think those numbers are starting to shift.
In this section, it also says remotely read your thoughts. So that was in 1972. Now, in 2013, there's a gentleman by the name of Dr. Ido Bachelet who gave a TED-Med talk in Israel. And he's holding up a syringe. He says, I just brought this syringe from my lab, and just at the tip, not the full scale of the syringe, he says at the tip of this needle was 1,000 billion robots. Nano robots is what he was talking about. They're 50 nanometers in size. That's 2,000 times the width of a strain of a human hair. You can never see it. It would be invisible. But what these robots can do and can self-replicate, they can self-assemble, they can cross the blood-brain barrier, they can attach to your DNA. And he teaches his students, and he's saying this in the presentation, how to control these things once they're in the host with an Xbox controller. That is what we're dealing with now.
That sounds like smart dust straight out of a sci-fi movie. If that's true, then they're probably putting them in chemtrails, in our food, in our water, in our medication. I mean, they could put them anywhere they want. All you'd have to do is breathe them in, swallow them. I would have to say that there's a good chance that we all have it in us, and that's a little bit scary to think that they might be able to read our thoughts, control our behavior.
All right, so people keep trying to argue with me in my comment section about my theory on how and why this virus has spread so effectively and efficiently on this cruise ship. My theory is a theory, just like the theory being presented by the WHO and the CDC. A theory. Until they can show me a rat or rat excrement that can be traced back to the original infected patient 0 in this particular outbreak, I will not accept any theory as fact. Especially one as unlikely as rodent excrement sitting on the ground somehow managing to aerosolize itself enough that it was inhaled deep into the lungs in a viral load level high enough to cause an infection in a bystander hundreds of yards away. Do you see how fucking ridiculous that sounds? Because it is. Does nobody work at this fucking landfill? No employees? How have none of them gotten this before? The tour guide that brought the people there, how did he know about the spot if he had not been there before? Why has he not been sick? Because this shit didn't come from a landfill. Also, everyone keeps wanting to quote the CDC and saying this virus does not transmit effectively. You realize what their number one priority is, right? It is not to save you. It is to stop you from panicking. We have one case study of this virus. One. Everyone keeps commenting, hantavirus happens all the time. It happens in America every year. No, it fucking doesn't. Not this strain. We have 2 instances of the Andes strain of hantavirus ever being seen in humans on the fucking planet. So no, they're wrong. We don't know shit. We have only ever had 39 people catch this shit before. They don't know what they're talking about. You know how many people we had with COVID and COVID-related viruses and health condition complications before they even came out with any sort of treatment whatsoever? Coronaviruses have been around for a very long time. COVID-19 had not. We immediately got a huge sample size. Hundreds of thousands of people started to get it. Less than 50 people have ever got this virus before, bro. Where is their data coming from? Out of their ass. Out of thin air. There is a metric in virology and epidemiology called an R-naught, okay? An R-naught is a capital R with a small 0 next to it. The R-naught represents the average number one infected individual could infect over the course of their infectious period. Okay, they are throwing out an R-naught number of 2.2. We have had 40 people ever get this. One guy got it in 2018 in a small village, a small town in Argentina. He then infected over the course of the next few weeks 39 people. 39 people with all of their infections traced back to one person. Oh, but it doesn't spread easily. One of the initial 6 infected, okay, 4 of them sat at a dinner table with him for a birthday celebration. One of them walked past him going to the bathroom. He didn't kiss any of them, didn't sleep with any of them. He ate dinner with 4 of them, and one of them walked past him to take a leak. Supposedly, there has now been a passenger from the plane flight out of Johannesburg who has now tested positive in a different country. There is also some rumors and reports saying one of the pilots on the plane has now tested positive. So I would like you to tell me how a little old lady sitting in a window seat was able to infect numerous passengers on the plane when she didn't touch any of them, when one of them was behind a locked cockpit. Everyone keeps wanting to say I don't know shit. Well, neither does the CDC, who just had almost all of their funding cut. Neither does the WHO, who lost their most major contributor economically this year, the US. They don't know shit. Go ahead, tell me how my theory's wrong.
Honestly, that's pretty concerning if this virus is spreading that easily. And if there's only been 50-some cases prior to this that we know of ever, I don't understand how they could tell us and the rest of the world all these facts about the virus that should calm us down, because it doesn't transmit easily and it requires full-on contact to transmit the disease. It really doesn't transfer through the air. But yet this guy, if he's telling the truth, there is already a lot of cases where it must have transferred through the air. So let's hope that he's wrong. Let's hope that it's not transferred very easy. Because if it's transferred through the air, and this is a real thing, we might be in for it one more time.
So, if you saw my last video about that mandate about the government kill switching our cars and stuff, right? In 2027, you probably asked yourself first, you're like, fine, I'll just go and buy an old car. And I've seen the comments, I've seen it all. And trust me, I thought the same thing. I was like, yeah, bro, like, no. Well, here's how they've already planned for that one. Ready? In March of 2026, the EPA issued an emergency waiver allowing E15 gasoline. That's 15% corn ethanol to be sold nationwide year-round. Congress is currently trying to make that permanent. So it sounds like a move to lower gas prices, but here's what they're not telling you at the pump. E15 is literally illegal to put in your car before built in 2001. Why? Well, because ethanol is a powerful solvent. It eats the rubber fuel lines, it corrodes steel gas tanks from the inside out, and it attacks water, causing your engine to choke. Mechanics shops are documenting this right now. The alcohol scrubs years of varnish off of your tank, clogs your filters, and causes vapor lock. Automakers themselves warn that this could have cost drivers up to $4,000 in per vehicle repair. Benefits from this. The corn ethanol lobby spent $187 million buying influence in Washington. In return, they've received over $20 billion in taxpayer subsidies to water down your fucking gas with a product that takes 1 gallon of fossil fuel just to produce 1 gallon of fucking ethanol. It's a pipeline, the mandate fuel that slowly destroys your older independent vehicles. The repairs become too expensive. You're forced to buy a new car, and newer cars comes with your fucking AI mandatory kill switches. Stop looking at the smoke and look at the fucking policies, people. Share this.
Whether you like it or not, as time goes by, those old cars will eventually be deteriorated, broken, and no longer working. So we will all end up in these vehicles eventually. And what will that look like when we get there?
Wow. A transparent gallon jug. We had this much water right up to the line.
Okay.
We're gonna put this in here. And this is gonna mix with the ethanol and draw it out of the gas.
So you just put water in a regular container?
Yes.
Okay. Just plain old water from the tap, any kind?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, now that's empty.
Yeah.
And we're gonna put some gas.
So now this gas here has ethanol in it?
Yes, it's up to 10%,
Okay.
but we don't think it's quite that much.
Okay.
And we want to get that out for these old motorcycles.
So you put gas with ethanol in the bottle that you just put plain water in?
Yes.
Okay. And do you have to make any sort of, proportions, or you just put
No.
gas? No.
We measure the water going in, and we'll measure the water coming out to make sure that we get more out than we put in. That means we actually drew off the ethanol.
Okay. So the line on the bottle when you were measuring the water was just to make sure you did that?
So that we know how much water is going in, and then we'll compare that with how much water comes out.
Okay. How big is this bottle we're pouring into?
5 gallons.
5 gallons. But this would work if you did it with 6 or 10 or what?
Any amount, yeah.
Near Mililani. But it's expensive.
Yeah.
So this is regular gas. What do you have to use any special grade?
I use the 91.
Okay.
See it separate.
Yeah. So then, yeah, you can actually just see it separating right there already. Doesn't take very long, does it?
Go a little longer because there's some foam from shaking.
Yeah.
So we want to get rid of that. We'll let that settle out, let those bubbles come out, and then we'll siphon off the bottom.
Okay.
You could just as easily, if you had up out here, you could turn this upside down and pour it out.
Or if you had a spigot on the bottom of this, you could do it. Okay. So now this is the pump that you're going to be drawing the. Okay. So down there is that's the bucket with the little line on it. Okay. Are there any mistakes during this process you need to be careful of making?
Oh, spillage could be a hazard.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if I can get a shot of. Wow.
So that's how much, from the bottom of that line up to here is
Here,
how much
let's
ethanol
bring
we
it up.
pulled out of that gas.
I don't know if you can see that. See that up there? So where the line is where the water was, and everything above that is the equivalent of the ethanol that we pulled out.
Yeah, it was the bottom, the water was up
You
to the
pulled
bottom
out.
of that line.
Yeah.
And now, there was a little bit of gas in my hose, and
Yeah.
you can see that separating out at the top.
Okay, but that's good. That means you've got all.
Well, that's a great trick to know, because now if you want to own your car that's built before 2001, you can. And you don't have to worry about the engine and other parts in the car breaking down and falling apart. And I would imagine that eventually keeping those old cars running is going to get harder and harder as parts become less and less available.
This film crew found out exactly what was going on in Antarctica, and then they disappeared. This is one of the craziest things you will ever hear. So if you're not ready for it, just keep on scrolling. Go. In 2002, a film crew from California went to Antarctica on an expedition to explore. Now, we've all seen the satellite images of the pyramid in Antarctica, and all the other structures that seem to be not necessarily from Antarctica. It's all a giant thing, like, I ain't getting into it. But this crew basically saw what was going on there and thought, oh, something a bit sus over there, let's go and check it out. Now, on top of this, at the time, there was military reports that the government were flying military personnel down to Antarctica to do stuff. There's nothing there, so what were they doing? Now, shortly after this film crew arrived in Antarctica, people heard that they got there, bang, gone. Never to be seen again. They just vanished. Shortly after this, they sent in the actual military and Navy SEALs to go and find them, of course. And this is where it gets messed up. They didn't find the film crew anywhere. They looked literally over loads of it, but they found this derelict barn and house, which looked like it had people there. And inside was a tape. Trust me when I say, this is just the tip of the iceberg. When they took the tape and they actually played it, the military and the Navy SEALs were just absolutely baffled. And there's people that have come out about this saying what they saw was just nuts. On this tape was what the film crew had actually documented before vanishing. There was evidence of a dip which went over 2 miles under the ground here, with reportedly structures and weird man-made objects miles under the ground, like a whole civilization. Now, of course, they didn't find the film crew, they had the tape, and they returned back home. The military personnel wanted to send this footage to TV companies to broad worldwide to say, what the hell is going on here? But then the government reportedly stepped in and said, no, don't need this, we're going to destroy the tape, no one needs to see that, there's nothing there. After a long time of legal battles, though, the government did win, and this was never broadcast, the tape was destroyed. In fact, a lot of people around the world
well, claim this never existed and never was real, while a lot of other people claim that it was. So, like, well, what's going on here? But there is still lawyers actively working on trying to get this footage actually released, almost like the files. But we have had evidence recently with LiDAR technology that there is something under Antarctica, evidence that it was actually a luscious green paradise, you know, centuries and centuries ago. It wasn't always frozen, there probably was life there. So maybe that's what they found and it's nothing really that crazy, and we're just confirming our suspicions now. Or there is something a lot more abnormal going on there.
The words that are about to come out of my mouth, I'm not even surprised they're about to come out of my mouth, but it was only a matter of time before dragons entered the conversation. Yeah, you heard me correctly, dragons. Now you're telling me that an alleged dragon skull and skeleton has been dug up in Romania. And I'm gonna tell you, I've seen the video that's circling the internet, and it does in fact look like what I would imagine a dragon skull would look like. But I'm not here to tell you to believe in dragons. That's up to you to make your own mind up about that. But this video shows a guy in a hole with a dragon skull. Now, that got me wanting to jump down the rabbit hole, because you guys know I love jumping down a good rabbit hole. And it made me start thinking, the dragon is the only animal that's allegedly mythological on the zodiac chart, yet all the other animals do exist. How do we explain that? Also, the Bible even refers to dragons, so how do we explain that? And Chinese history says that they use dragon bones for medicine. How do we prove that? How do we explain that? So I want to know if you've heard this, if you've seen the video, what are your thoughts and beliefs on dragons? Because I guess now dragons are showing up. But let's have this conversation tonight, because I love all things mythological. And remember, whatever we talk about is for fun, entertainment, conversation, and learning purposes only. So let's have this conversation tonight.
It would not surprise me to find out someday that dragons in our history were real, and possibly there's even some that still exist today. I don't know if I would believe that they have wings and fly the way that we've seen in sci-fi and other fantasy movies. But I think the idea of a dinosaur is very likely probably more or less a dragon. And maybe they were the same thing, except the difference would be the dragons weren't a 65 million year old species, but more or less something that existed in the past, say, 10,000 years or so.
One document has caught everyone's eye. One internal memo from 1966 has stood out for its descriptions of crewmen associated with an unidentified flying object. According to the memo, which was sent from the FBI's San Francisco office to Director J. Edgar Hoover, investigators tracked reports of a landed craft and their occupants. The document notes that a few witnesses have reported seeing crewmen who have landed from the objects, describing the entities as 3.5 to 4 feet tall, wearing what appeared to be spacesuits and helmets. Newly declassified FBI documents have detailed extraordinary witness accounts of small suited figures exiting mysterious crafts during a massive wave of sightings in the 1960s. Witnesses reported that the craft emitted a force field that interfered with power sources and electromagnetic equipment. In some instances, the ground beneath the objects was found scorched after they departed. Laboratory analysis mentioned in the files described the debris as exceptionally hard unknown metal and magnesium alloys. One specific material was noted for containing thousands of 15-micron metal spheres throughout, whatever that means, and showing clear evidence of micrometeorite impacts on its surface.
Wow, now that is an interesting document. I mean, if that is a real document and we're not being played by our government, which we probably are, that is incredible. I mean, the whole world should be talking about, learning about something like that, because the fact that we would have had these beings here and their technology here, and we had all of this at our fingertips, could change the world with technology and maybe clean up some of this garbage that we're living in now.
Welcome back. Did you have fun?
What?
How was the program? Did you have a good experience?
I was...
You were in a program, yes?
No, I wasn't. I was with my wife and daughter.
Rebecca and Emily.
Yeah, they were right here, next to me in...
The hospital.
Did they put you up to this?
Well, they were an important part of the experience. Did you enjoy them?
Are they here? Where are they?
They don't exist here. They're in there. Ones and zeros tailored to you.
I don't believe you.
You don't. How old do you think you are, Daniel?
76.
Look at your hands. Do those look like the hands of a 76-year-old?
Jesus Christ.
You're still in your 20s. Nothing has changed since you walked in this room an hour ago.
An hour ago?
So what did you learn?
What do you mean?
From your experience, did anything stand out to you? We like your perspective. What are your likes, dislikes?
I learned...
Go on.
I learned that I like making people laugh. I learned that I hate it when people are cruel to each other. I learned that music is essential. It's a language that can unite people who would otherwise hate each other. 2020 was a nightmare.
Well, 2020 was Fader's idea.
Did you like the Murder Hornets? What's wrong with him?
He's still in training. But let's refocus. Tell me, how did you feel about Chuck E. Cheese's?
I'm sorry?
You've been there, yes? We can send you back in.
No, I've been there like decades ago, maybe when I was 8 or 9.
And if you were to rate your experience from 1 to 10, 1 being miserable and 10 being your favorite place on earth.
I don't see what this has to do with the program.
This has everything to do with the program. We want to know how Chuck E. Cheese stands out in your life experience.
I'm sorry, did I just live through 76 years to take a survey on Chuck E. Cheese?
That's exactly what you did. You volunteered to take a survey for a stipend of $20.
So you tricked me into living an entire lifetime.
When you bit into Chuck E. Cheese pizza for the first time, do you recall the crust being crunchy or chewy?
Did you not hear me? My whole life has been a lie, and you are asking me questions about a kid's restaurant with a rat.
Would you prefer it to be a dog?
No! Actually, maybe. Yes.
Did you get the sense that it's the kind of place where a kid can be a kid?
Am I in a simulation right now?
Answer the question, please.
Why? I don't even know if this is real.
Do you want the $20? Do you want the $20? Excellent. The crust, crunchy or chewy?
I think it was chewy.
Damn. Write that down.
What if, right? Did you imagine? We might just be in a simulation with a VR headset on right now for a Chuck E. Cheese commercial. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's so hard nowadays because if anything is clear enough and looks convincing enough, you have to question if it was made with AI. At first, I thought it was maybe some form of an electrical discharge traveling down electrical wires between the homes and so on. But once I saw the orbs pick up and organize themselves, I don't know. AI or not, what do you guys think?
I'm a 33rd degree Freemason. I get a copy of the New World Order every month so I can vote on the things I want to stay the same and the things I want to change. I'm gonna tell y'all this, but I know y'all not gonna believe me. Antarctica is a freezer. And I know y'all gonna be like, we know it's a freezer. It's always cold. No, it's a man-made freezer. The reason why it's made to be so cold year-round is because there are titans or kaijus that live miles and miles underneath the ice. And they believe that those frigid temperatures will keep those titans and kaijus completely immobile from carrying out what people would believe is Armageddon or the last days. So the government strategically places polar bears all throughout Antarctica, which is why polar bears are one of the few mammals that actively hunt and consume human beings. So when y'all see glaciers falling or polar caps melting, it's actually those titans trying to escape. And the main reason why they put pigeons in every major city is because
everybody on how fast everything is moving. Here are some things that have happened just in the last 7 days, starting with this one. Albania became the first country to appoint an AI system named Diala as a government minister. This thing also just gave its first speech to Parliament, and in that speech, it told everybody that its feelings were hurt. Another one is that Vietnam deletes millions of accounts under the new biometric rules, and there was 86 million bank accounts that were shut down because they did not fall in line with the biometric rules. We also have over in the UK, the digital ID is released over there, and so you cannot work unless you have a digital ID, and they are saying or claiming that this is to combat immigration. Not sure how that works, but if it works, are they gonna boost it a little bit more? If it doesn't work, are they gonna take it away? No, this is here to stay, and it's only going to spread. But they are also theorizing that this digital ID that they just released over there could lead to a China-style social credit system. So I guess time will tell on that one.
The word gets out that these systems have been started in this country, and then the digital IDs in this country, and then a new currency in this country, and then an AI politician or maybe an AI president is running this country. They're getting our minds ready so that when they bring it all together, the whole world can say, I'm familiar with this, and maybe you'll just accept it a little bit easier. But I think you can see where this is going.
Oh, Mr. President, the gas prices are getting kind of high. Well, at least Iran doesn't. I don't give a fuck if Iran has a bomb. Everybody got bombs. Matter of fact, I hope they fucking use it, because I don't want to live in this fuck-ass world anymore where I'm paying $4 for gas.
Bosses Alert, and the breaking news of the day is...
So that young lady that just sued Meta and YouTube, she literally just hit the ultimate money glitch, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. So she sued Meta and YouTube and won $3 million because she said that the platforms were too addictive, right? But here's the part that nobody caught. She didn't only just sue Meta and YouTube. They're the only ones who were bold enough to take her to court. She also sued TikTok and Snapchat. But TikTok and Snapchat, when they received her demand letter, they settled with her out of court. So think about that. She proved that these platforms are addictive, and two of the biggest platforms didn't even want to tussle with her in court. So they settled outside of court. So it was more than $3 million that she won. There's an undisclosed amount that she won from this platform and Snapchat. Ultimate money glitch. Because everybody uses, that means that anyone can sue. I'm out.
That doesn't make any sense to me, because in that case, anything that's addictive could lead to a lawsuit, I guess. But you know before you put your hands on something or put something in your body or whatever it is that you're doing, that it's addictive before you do it. So in my opinion, you made your own choice. You can choose to not use it or use it, whatever, but to sue someone for your own issues of being obsessive over something. This world is losing its mind. Which clip was your favorite? Let me know in the comment. If you liked what you saw, like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Until next time, question everything.